Driven by the perpetual question, what is general music? The purpose of this research was to identify origins and aims of general music in the United States. Specifically, what are the philosophical and terminology origins of general music? What are the aims of general music in contemporary music education? And why is the term general music significant today? The philosophical origins of general music can be traced back to any civilization whose people universally sang, played instruments, and danced. Prehistoric man, indigenous Africans, Egyptians, and ancient Greeks are known as early civilizations with active musical cultures. Ancient Greece particularly brought democratic societies, highly developed educational systems, and intellectual inquiry. Both Plato and Aristotle were advocates of a general music education. Plato argued for a balance between music and movement, and also believed that singing was virtuous because it could transform the soul. This drove his support of moral aspects of music over expertise. Similarly, Aristotle advocated for the development of ethos in music not by specialization, but through leisure participation and musical understanding. Public school music largely began as what we now call general music. While proficiency was a cornerstone, so was the ideal that all children could be taught to sing. Lowell Mason was persistent in working to convince school administration that music had become an integral part of society and therefore belonged in the curriculum. Vocal music was emphasized based on its practical value. Reminiscent of the ancient Greeks, Mason's rationale articulated support for singing via intellectual, moral, and physical standards. He believed that vocal music education should be for more than the talented few, and found it his mission to overturn this perception. In addition to the belief that every student has musical capacity, music education in the United States was established to develop an understanding of music in all students, especially those with amateur aspirations. It was not the goal of early American music education to create professional musicians. It began with the goal of creating musically intelligent amateurs. Upon being established, school music was synonymous with vocal music education, and teaching music meant teaching singing. The years following the Civil War, however, marked key shifts in the purpose of school music. Rapid growth in private lessons, music as a profession, and popularity of instruments contributed to aims that went beyond the practicality of learning to sing. Music became an academic subject that emphasized intellectual values. Teaching music shifted to mean teaching music reading. The child study movement at the turn of the 20th century brought a revolution in education. Students' intrinsic interests were at the forefront, and classes based on these interests were added to the curriculum. Music classes shifted to focus on aesthetic values. The aim of school music became an appreciation and understanding of beautiful qualities specific to music. It was during this time that school music grew into a variety of names and specializations, including chorus, band, orchestra, and music appreciation. MENC sourcebooks indicate the term general music starts to appear either just prior to or during World War II. As school requirements evolved well into the 20th century, so did music curricula. Progress had been made regarding the conception of music in elementary, junior high, and senior high school as a cohesive program for all students. Vocal music was largely the foundation of elementary school curricula, while instrumental music became introduced at the junior high level. Music in the senior high school curriculum saw a delineation between general and elective, the latter including both instrumental and vocal music, as well as theory, history, and appreciation. Still, general music classes that incorporated singing, listening, and reading notation are identified under the junior high school curriculum in this document from 1942. Why did these music classes become known as general music? Mark and Gary suggest the term might have been applied in the same fashion it was to science and math classes at the time, and that doing so reflected the compulsory nature of these classes. I propose another reason. With the advent of electives, school music increasingly became dichotomous. Students who elected to take chorus, band, or orchestra chose to specialize in vocal or instrumental music. Students who did not often still faced a music requirement. In order to differentiate, the term general may have been used to identify music classes that were not specialized. Terminologically, it is likely that general music was initially recognized by what it was not, specialized. As time progressed, the term general was attached to philosophical and curricular aims. School administrators were made aware of the importance of music, particularly in early childhood and the formative years. This understanding resulted in widespread elementary general music classes across the country by the 1960s. General music gained support through its Kodai, Orff, and Dalcroze methodologies that all shared the belief in music for every child. In 1981, members of MENC formed the Society for General Music. Their purpose was to improve general music teaching and research with the ultimate goal to have every student in America experience music in ways that will broaden and deepen their lives. This establishment was critical because it helped provide leadership and solidarity among general music teachers. The comprehensive development of music at the elementary level arguably took a backseat to the evolution of secondary school ensembles. Bands, choirs, and orchestras tend to be more visible than elementary music classrooms. With the formation of the Society for General Music, further opportunities were created for teachers to philosophically question, debate, and define general music's place in the curriculum. These developments influenced and helped carry its transition into the 21st century. By 2011, the Society transformed into the Council for General Music Education, whose current mission is to encourage and improve the quality of teaching and research in general music at all levels, with particular attention given to general music instruction from preschool through grade 8. Much of what is considered general about general music surrounds its curriculum and methodology. Philosophical aims were largely overlooked until the establishment of the Society for General Music. There remains a need to examine the philosophy behind general music and its current implications. Throughout its development in contemporary music education, general music has been recognized for being comprehensive and multidimensional. It is also used as a basis for praxis. Resurgence in the belief of music education for all students has brought general music, particularly in secondary schools, into the spotlight again. These themes surface as broad aims of general music in the 21st century. Upon the publication of national standards, music educators have searched for curricula and methodologies that are able to address each standard accordingly. Due to the comprehensive nature of these standards, the advantages general music offers are ubiquitous. Reamer outlined a comprehensive general music program using a curriculum model framed by the why, what, when, and how of general music. He explains that the underlying value of general music is its cultivation of active musicianship and involvement. He particularly notes the importance of comprehensiveness in general music for it to be valid and useful. Reamer advocated that general music should enhance the abilities and interests of all students, especially those likely to be amateurs or aficionados. He strongly felt that a general education in music consisting of comprehensiveness, balance, and sequential learning is what gives general music a unique identity. Participatory aims of general music embody Eliot's philosophy. The crux of praxial music education is musicianship and learning by doing. Because making music is at the heart of this, general music that is experiential and multidimensional is a likely fit. Pam Bernard articulates one application of praxialism by writing, "What matters in general music, then, is that we affirm children's musical potentials and capabilities, widen their musical access, and strengthen our professional practice." It has been a major trend of music education in the 21st century to focus on music for all. This aim is of concern due to declining enrollment in band, choir, and orchestra. Because the structure of elementary general music classes tends to include all students, adapted models for secondary general music continue to be reimagined. After an unfortunately long tenure as music appreciation, secondary general music classes are getting a much-needed facelift. These classes now employ a variety of technology, repertoire, and methodologies. It is perhaps due to the enduring belief in music for all that general music has made great strides in solidifying its place in both elementary and secondary levels of music education today. My central claim is that the philosophy behind general music is what makes it inherently general. Being that terminology often reflects philosophical aims, I am also purporting that the term general music is what makes it significant to music education today. This is perhaps best demonstrated by its relevancy to music in everyday life. Whether shopping, getting ready at home, or driving a car, people experience music every day. Many experiences are passive, some even going unnoticed. Other experiences actively engage people, such as dancing, singing happy birthday, or singing along to recorded music. Collectively, these experiences have been studied as music in everyday life, to which some have asked, what is the role of music education? My suggestion is that musical experiences in everyday life are most affirmed by general music and its philosophy. Research shows that informal engagement with music is the primary function of experiences and participation after P12 schooling. These functions and contexts do not require specialized skills, including the ability to read music or play an instrument with technical proficiency. They do, however, require a person's motivation to engage with music. Research also indicates that people who do not perceive themselves as being musical are much less likely to feel motivated to participate. Implications from this research suggest the development of specialized skills in music might propel the myth that ability is inextricably linked to natural talent. When people observe others as having musical skills or talent, they perceive them as being musical. It is erroneous, however, for people to perceive the reverse. The people who do not have specialized skills in music are non-musical. This is precisely why the philosophy and terminology of general music is relevant to music in everyday life. The parallels between general music and music in everyday life are twofold: the opportunity to engage and the perception of being musical. General music is the only music education paradigm that consistently supports engagement by any student regardless of skill level, ability, or perceived talent. Likewise, music in everyday life affords the only opportunity to engage with music regardless of ability for a vast majority of people. General music is rooted in the belief that all students are musical. If general music education fosters this belief, then it is possible for every student to perceive themselves as being musical. The conviction that one is musical directly enhances their engagement with music in everyday life. Ultimately, music education's role is to affirm people's engagement with music and their perception of being musical. It is my belief that general music is uniquely termed and positioned to do this. My desire to unpack the term general music reflects accruing conversations with colleagues irritated by its vagueness. There is concern that the term is demeaning and misrepresentative. However, a closer look at the definition of general reveals otherwise. To conclude, let us revisit what general music is by applying these descriptions. General music is music education that involves, is applicable to, and affects the whole. General music relates to every member of a class, kind, or group because it is not confined by specialization or limitation. General music belongs to the common nature of a group of like individuals and is characteristic of the majority. And finally, general music concerns universal rather than particular aspects.